Representative Matt Gaetz recently admitted, although likely on accident, that the United States is filled with shootings. Lots and lots of shootings.
And so one has to ask, what is the true purpose of this bill? Why do the Democrats want to use the power of government to bombard your cell phone with active shooter alerts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? It's because they want you to be afraid of the Second Amendment. It's because they want you to be afraid of responsible gun ownership, and they hope that if they program you and bombard you long enough, that you'll hate your own Second Amendment rights, or that you may tattle on your neighbor who is lawfully and rightfully exercising theirs.
So he doesn't want your phone being bombarded with active shooter alerts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, why would that be? Why would your phone be blowing up with so many active shooter alerts? Oh, right. It's because this country is in the hands of a death cult that has allowed guns for everyone. And there are guns everywhere, thanks to these lunatics. Shootings happen all the time. And here's Matt Gaetz saying, I know when they happen all the time. That's why I don't want you to know about it. If you hear about it, then you might actually want to do something to stop it. Oh, and we can't have that. So he thinks that that's a bad thing. Now, the bill he's referring to would create an active shooter alert system that would function locally, similar to how an Amber Alert works. So it warns you of a shooting in your area. Now, of course, Gaetz, you heard him. He says it's basically a nefarious agenda, using the big power of big government to blast all these messages to your phone. Really? You want to talk about big government? You want big government to control a person's uterus. You want people tattling on their neighbors for getting abortions. Florida, where Matt Gaetz is a congressperson, wants teachers to tattle on gay kids for being gay or trans. Wants you to run to their parents. The teachers run to their parents under force of law to tell them that they're gay or trans. So really, you want to talk about big government? You want to talk about tattling? Come on. Matt Gaetz. By the way, Texas also wants people that their anti-abortion, their abortion ban, literally sets it up where people will tell on each other if you think that another person is getting an abortion or that another person is providing said abortion. So please, you want to talk about that? We can talk about that all day. No, look, when it comes down to it, this bill, it might save some lives potentially, okay, but it's not gun control. It's not dangerous. It's not what Gaetz is saying that, it's not the way that he is painting this bill, okay? He's calling this absolutely like nefarious and a way to try to destroy your Second Amendment rights, to make you do it. The whole thing is absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous. No, Gaetz wants you to remain ignorant of the sheer number of shootings going on in this country. That's the whole goal of this. Now remember, no other country has this problem. No other country in the developed world has to deal with the amount of shootings that we have in this country every single day. Not only does Gaetz not want to do anything about it, but he also, again, doesn't want you to know about it. He just wants you to remain ignorant and in the dark of what's actually happening, even if it could potentially save your life. This is an incredibly warped person, very, very messed up individual, and what he's doing is he's pandering to the fringe minority of people who happen to fetishize guns. Normal gun owners, regular people, because there are a lot of regular people who do exercise their Second Amendment rights. Guess what? The vast majority of them are absolutely fine with common sense gun reforms. Background checks. Bans on high-capacity magazines. I think there's even a slim majority that supports an assault weapons ban. But when it comes to Congress, they don't at all represent the will of the people. They don't represent their constituents. They get to choose their voters. They get tons and tons of money, millions of dollars, from gun manufacturers and special interest groups. And they're allowed to gerrymander their districts and pander to the most extreme right-wing voters. This is how you end up with people like Matt Gaetz. This is how you end up with people like Lauren Boebert. just insane people that are running, that are ruling over people that don't want them there, but don't have the power to be able to remove them. Again, when it comes to overcoming Republican gerrymandering, actually more people have to turn out in record numbers just to be able to overcome those advantages that Republicans have allowed themselves to bake into the system. Now, there's another thing he says that, they want you afraid of responsible gun ownership. How? This doesn't have any impact on responsible gun owners, as I said before. He's talking absolute nonsense, and what it is this conspiratorial scaremongering about a bill that's incredibly benign, that may or may not save a few lives here and there by warning people to stay clear of an area that has an active shooter. Again, it doesn't do anything for the people that are already in the area, that have already been shot or killed by someone who is able to easily get access to a firearm. No. And it's not going to do anything to prevent all the other mass shootings as well, or the other gun violence that is rampant across this country. And let me give you the numbers on that, by the way. According to the Sandy Hook Promise, each day 12 children die from gun violence in America. Another 32 are shot and injured. Guns are now the leading cause of death among American children and teens. 1 out of every 10 gun deaths are the age 19 years. Look, gun violence kills more kids than car accidents. It's the number 1 cause of death. And even more disastrous is that since the start of this year alone, there have been 23,518 gun-related deaths across the country, and another 20,360 people injured, according to the Gun Violence Archive. But no, it's the alert that's the problem. Shh, don't talk about the numbers of shootings in this country, because then maybe regular people, normal people, will actually want to do something about it, and that's going to affect my profits. It's going to affect my political donations.